And then another problem which I have with the black church, it is that when you really take a very honest look in the inner city, that in the inner city, just like Detroit or Chicago or New York or Atlanta or Boston, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton, Dallas, LA, any major inner city where there's a large black population, you also have a large percent of black churches. Just like in Detroit, just about every major block in Detroit is a black church. It doesn't matter, it's a small church. It doesn't matter whether it's a big time storefront, really church, all the way up to a big time mega church with a big time mega ministry. It's a black church on every corner. But you have to ask the question, is these black churches is ministering the needs of African Americans, and they're ministering in the celebration of the life and the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? You would say no. There's only few churches that are out there that are the individual churches that probably will have a food program. They'll probably have a homeless shelter. They will probably have like a job or economic thing to help people find job. And normally a lot of the bigger churches that got more than 1,000 members can easily do the research, and they can tap into the community and help people find jobs. They can help people who need food, and they have food pantry. They can help people that they need clothes. They can have clothes. If they need to pay their bills, the church have a big benevolent offer that they'll help pay your rent, or they pay. But in the black church as a whole, we don't put our money together like in the Jewish synagogues do. And all of the Jewish synagogues, whether you are an Orthodox Jew, whether you are a Reformed Jew, or whether you're a conservative Jew, or you're a secular, non-religious Jew, but your activity is Jewish, that you really support the Jewish community. Jews support one another, whether they're religious Jews or they're secular Jews. But African American black folks, we don't support each other. And that's what the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King failed. In this 50th anniversary, his commemorating that the black community has to wake up. The black church has to wake up. I don't want to get into like a tantrum like I got in a tantrum earlier about what the black church is not doing. And people are not respecting the black church. And because of that, it's very hard in our today's time to get members of the church. And I noticed that in the Christian church, we're very hungry about getting members. And I noticed like in Judaism, Jews are not that hungry to get members. I noticed that in the Islamic community, that Muslims are not that hungry to get members. But I noticed in Christianity, we're very hungry to get members, because organized religion is just all about a big business. And most pastors, their whole thing of getting into the ministry is to secure a pulpit and get a building, which you have to pay bills. So you got to get members to pay bills. So our reach is to try to reach people to help to pay the bills in the church. And that's why we're so desperate to get people. And the way how we do it, we just tell people that God hates you, and God don't love you, and if you repent, all of a sudden God gonna love you all of a sudden. If you ain't out there sinning, God gonna love you. And then in the Jewish community, they teach their people that God naturally loves you. You're naturally are the chosen ones. And since you're the natural chosen ones, you should be about your family. You should be saving up money up and investing in education, investing in business with your family. And then they do a generational thing. And that's why in Judaism in America is a very small minority religion. But at the same time, that Judaism is considered as a very small religion in America, because there's only 2% of Jews live here in America, but Jews own more than 70% or more, probably like 80% of the wealth here in the United States of America. Jews are very good in the banking business. They really own the banking business. They own Bank of America and Chase Banks, and they're very good in entrepreneurship and owning big business or also small businesses. They're very good about owning Hollywood, because Hollywood is owned by the Jews. They control Hollywood. They control the music industry. Also, the Jews, not only controlling the entertainment business, but the Jews is also controlling, the city of Detroit, because Dan Gilbert has came here to Detroit, and he have really rebuilt downtown and Midtown in a new center area. But what we as African Americans are doing, we're just complaining. We're complaining all about the white man and white supremacy, but we're not doing nothing as a people. And we have little churches that are really actually are out there. They're doing something. And the rest of the churches just having service. Just like I was mimicking a lot of these pastors. They just there just to have church. But they're not there to build people up and build a community and build a race of people up. That's why people don't go to church, because they think this whole religion thing is phony baloney, and we're not living up to the expectation in the ministry of Jesus Christ. And other people, their prosperance is right. That Jews are in the entertainment business. Jews basically ran the civil rights movement. They ran the NAACP. They run in the banking industry. But what is we blacks are doing? That's what I was saying in this video. Since this is today, it's the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that took a bullet for our lives, that he sacrificed for us to have freedom in America because we were the oppressed. He sacrificed his life because he wanted to see blacks to own their own business. He wanted to see blacks to walk hands with other races of people are prospering, and we're not prospering. It's just individual black people who are the middle class has prosperous. It's just only black churches that are middle class and have a congregation of the size of 1,000 or more. But what about the small storefront churches? They just having church. They just walking around, clowning, speaking in tongues, and there's no power in there. It's the same situation with unemployment, the same situation with poverty, the same situation of black on black crime, the same situation with unwed mothers, teenage pregnancy. Nothing has changed because it's no power in those churches. And people look at that. People look at why we got all these many different churches, all these different pastors, and they said they called by God, and they just want to have church or play church. And it's time out to playing church. We got to be for real. We got to be on a bandwagon. This is the 50th year anniversary of Dr. King's death. We got to be on a bandwagon to change. And we have to reach our millennium generation because the millenniums do not want to go to church. The millenniums are more spiritual than they are religion because they see organized religion as fake. We have to make a change. We have to make a change with our leaders. We have to make a change because the black community is just going to die out. And people don't take us serious. White folks don't take us serious. The real reason why we have police brutality, because white people, they don't take us serious. The law enforcement do not take black people seriously because every single day in the inner city, they see one of us shooting up and killing each other. And when they see a black man and he's suspected of doing a crime, the first thing law enforcement to do to act out in violence because they stereotype all of us are violent people and aggressive people. And that's why they shoot and kill us. When a black person is aimed from a police officer, they're being taught to kill that nigger. That's why the real reason why we got so much police brutality going on. And just what happened in Sacramento, it was a black cop there, but that's not because that black cop is a sellout. He didn't give a damn. He didn't give a pussy care. And then the guy did not have a weapon. He had a cell phone. It's a big difference between a cell phone and a gun. Come on now, folks. It's a big difference. What's going on? Because black people don't love each other, don't respect each other. The only time when we march is when a white cop shoot a black person. We don't march when we hear on the news that a black person got shot by another black person, and we have a march to end black on black crime, and we're serious about it. But we have a march when a white cop or when a white person kill a black person. And white people look at that. That's why they don't take us seriously. So we have to wake up. So before I end this video, I want to show my respects to the family of Dr. Martin Luther King, his two daughters, his daughter, the Reverend Bernice King, his two sons, Martin III and Dexter, that we love you. We're praying for you. You lost both of your parents. Your parents are in better places. We really praying that in y'all leadership, that y'all keep your father's legacy alive. Any type of family dispute, try to end it. Any type of jealousy in the family tries to end it. Because your father was a good man. He laid his life down. We commemorate him. We commemorate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on this day. This is a day that we should salute him. This is a day that this country should freeze and have a silent prayer to honoring the man who loved all people, race, color, creed. He didn't care about what your religion is. He didn't care about that because he looked at you as a human being. First of all, you're a human being first before you a thing. Before you are a black man or a black woman, you're a human being and made in the image of God. Before you're white, you're a human being made in the image of God. Before you're Hispanic, you're a human being made in the image of God. And Dr. King wanted this America to be an America where all people from all walks of life have equal quality rights. Just like in the words of Dr. King said, he have a dream that one day that his children will live in a nation where they won't be judged by the color of their skin, by the contact of their color on who they really are on the inside. Do we live in this world where we're judged totally on the concept of our character versus our color of our skin? 50 years later, where have we gone? Have we progressed? Or we're still back in the same shape like we is in the 1960s? Before I close with this, I would like to say a prayer. And my prayer is the prayer of the healing of this country. Let us pray. Dear most holy, heavenly, kind God, loving God, we come here this day to commemorate a great man of God. This man of God by the name of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on this earth and he died caring about God's people, caring about the justice of our society, caring about people in the way that Jesus loved people. Lord, just look down and touch this country, God, that we are experiencing 50 years of the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Make this country whole again. Make this country to see the love and the power of Jesus Christ in your will